Hey, it's Osmond with House Einstein, and this is another Mind of a Realtor video for today, August 17th, 2020. And I'm going to kick off this week's Fresh Listings newsletter with a market update. You can take a look at that if you're a subscriber. And as we did last week, we're going to mix together notable sales and fresh listings in the newsletter itself, but in this video, I'm only going to talk about notable sales. So if you'd like information on fresh listings, please go ahead and go to houseeinstein.com. Look for the newsletter sign up button on the top right. It'll take you only a few minutes to sign up, and then you'll have access to our latest content, including our analysis and commentary on fresh listings. And while you're there, you can also take a look at a detailed analysis of market conditions for the city of Boulder for both attached and detached single-family houses. And if you visit our socials, you'll find a lot of charts about Denver and Longmont. There was a large data dump that I put out there over the weekend with a detailed analysis based on the most recent market data from Denver all the way to Boulder and everything in between. So take a look at that. As always, I welcome your commentary. And thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for watching these videos. Thanks for offering your feedback, both privately and publicly. We deeply appreciate it. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. So what's happening in Boulder real estate? As I mentioned in the intro, we did a detailed analysis of market data for last month, and you'll find that on the House Einstein website, as well as on our socials. But in this newsletter, I focus in on Boulder. And in the city, there were 135 house sales last month, which was the highest sales volume in a single month in 7 years. And in Boulder County, countywide, there was a record that exceeded my data set. So again, go check out those charts at houseeinstein.com or on our socials. I think you'll find detailed charts for the county and Denver and Longmont on our Instagram. And pending sales are looking really strong, so we expect August to have a really solid performance too. And in the newsletter here, we've got a few links. You can check those out to recent content on the blog. And then let's go. Let's focus in on the closed listings first, because those are the ones that we can share publicly. And then I'll cover the notable sales at the end. We'll stop the video at in between those two. So the first notable sale is 2323 Mapleton Avenue. And when this listing hit, it was such a no-brainer. An adorable little cottage. We wrote about it in Fresh Listings. It's in a good location. It is classic bungalow appeal, and it appears nicely maintained. The one deficit is no garage, but the lot size is decent, and it has a functional 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So for a lot of buyers, this checks most of the boxes for functional living, minus the garage space. And overall, the interior looks pretty good. The cute little front porch is incredibly inviting. And it's no surprise that it sold very quickly. And, we closed the screen. Hang on. Got to go back. Oh, boy. Can we go back? I may have to get rid of full screen for a moment to back up. There we go. It was under contract in 3 days. It sold for full asking with no concessions, and it was a cash deal. And I mentioned this in the newsletter here, that this is one of those assets that is extremely unlikely to lose any value, assuming it doesn't have anything structurally wrong with it or other major compromises that I'm missing, which I don't think I would miss. So that's a solid play for the owner, the new owner. Okay, 464 Morrison Alley is our next one. And this property is really interesting because one of my former tenants lived in it. And these San Francisco style townhomes are adorable. They stop foot traffic in the neighborhood. People know them quite well because they're so iconic and so unusual as a property. These ones that are north facing on the backside in the alley get really iced up in the winter. And
the build quality in this entire complex is a little bit suspect. I've seen some issues over the years in multiple units, and it points to maybe an HOA that could be run a little more efficiently, or maybe a property that built in 1977 is starting to show its age. But this particular one, the photos make it look, oh, there's that iced up um, there's that iced up entryway. This is not a listing photo I would have used, but you can see what the issue is when you're facing north in an alley. But overall, it looks really cute, and they decided to go with a wishful thinking asking price. And that wishful thinking asking price didn't find any takers. Surprise, surprise, in the middle of a COVID epidemic, nobody was jumping all over this property. And I did communicate with the former tenant about it, and she was quite amused at the list price. I sent it to her when it hit, and neither of us are surprised that eventually it did sell. Now, one of the interesting things about it is, I don't know if you could see it from this screen, probably not, but it was a regular series of price reductions throughout its listing history. And, when you market a home like that, it sends a signal to the market, and kind of like markdowns at a department store. Eventually somebody's going to jump on it, and they did, and they acquired it for $950, a far cry from the 1.35 original asking price. Okay, next, 582 Beaver Creek Drive. So this property is located just outside of Nederland proper. It's in the town of Nederland, but it's not in the downtown area. And when it hit the market, it really caught my eye because the asking price was so reasonable, and the design is quite current. It looks very much like something you might see in Scandinavia. We can't get full screen again. That's okay. I have no idea why it does that. But it's off of Caribou Road. It's off to the west side of Nederland, and you could stroll into town to a restaurant if you wanted. It's not that long of a walk, and you can also easily get to Eldora, and you can get to trails. So it checks that box for being a very attractive second or primary home, and likely a very good long-term investment. But from a design perspective, that's what drove the attention from buyers. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a reasonable 2,500 square feet, a full acre lot. You get at least one garage space. And then you get this sort of Scandinavian-inspired design with lots of windows and very lightly stained woodwork. It's open and classic. And sure enough, there were a lot of people interested, and it sold for a little over 100 over the asking price. And I think even at 100 over asking, it was still and will still be a very good long-term investment for the owner, based on both design, function, and proximity to Nederland and Eldora. The location should be a solid play. So yes, they went 100 over, but it's no surprise, and it will probably do just fine in the long run. Oops, that's not one of the ones we're looking at. Hang on. Let's get to the rest of our properties here. Okay, sold listings only. So those are our 3 notable sales. Now let's go to active listings. So this is where I'm going to stop the video. And if you're wondering what happened to the rest of it, just go to houseeinstein.com, go to the newsletter sign up, click subscribe, and you can watch the full-length video there. But on our socials, anywhere public, this is where the video will stop. So thank you so much. I'm Osman with House Einstein. We'll catch you next time. And if you're a subscriber, let's keep going. Okay,